Yo, what's good with y'all boys, man? Today we're here to talk about the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and Ben Simmons. But first things first, this roster that they have right now is really stacked with players like Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Patty Mills, Seth Curry. You got Cam Thomas, you got Royce O'Neal, you got TJ Warren, you got Joe Harris. I mean, that's a really good team right there. So the biggest problem that I think that the Nets are having right now is that Kevin Durant wants to go to the Celtics, and Kevin Durant's not happy with the situation in Brooklyn. So the trade package that would be with Boston would be Kevin Durant would go to Boston. The Nets would receive Jaylen Brown, Grant Williams, Marcus Smart, and possibly 3 to 4 first-round picks, and maybe even another role player like Derek White. See, the problem with that is, with the trade that happened with Rudy Gobert and the Timberwolves getting 5 first-round picks, was just so unrealistic, and so much of it was just him getting overpaid. It just makes everything too inflated. You can't get Kevin Durant. No team wants to give up their whole future after seeing the Rudy Gobert trade, because after Rudy Gobert gets 5 first-round picks to go to the Timberwolves, I mean, that's crazy. Because if you're a team like the Boston Celtics and you give up 5 first-round picks, I mean, you're just giving up your whole future, because Kevin Durant is 34 years old. He is getting older. For some teams, the risk just isn't worth it with Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant will most likely be returning, but it won't be because he wants to play for the Nets. It will just be because he has a lack of options. And another major thing about that is, with Ben Simmons coming back from injury, you have Joe Harris coming off injury. Joe Harris was like a 43% three-point shooter, and he shot 50% from the field, averaged about 12 points. You have good players coming back. This team is a championship contender if Kevin Durant will just come back and try to just win and be happy with where he's at. I know he has problems with the head coach, and I know he has problems with the front office, but if you can just get past that just for a couple seasons, 1 or 2 seasons, you could get a championship out of it. And that would really make up for a lot of stuff he did with Golden State if he could really just stick to it and really get a championship on his own with Kyrie Irving. Having a player like Ben Simmons come back, a dude who averages about 17, 8, and 8, is just absolutely incredible for that team, having a really true ball handler and letting Kyrie either play off ball or let Ben Simmons play off ball. And you have Kyrie Irving, who averages about 27, 4, and 4, and also Kevin Durant averages about 29, 8, and 8. So, I mean, you have really 3 elite players there. Maybe not elite scorers, because Ben Simmons, I mean, he can score on the drive, but you know he can't shoot the 3. I mean, at this point in his career, we should honestly just give up on trying to make him shoot the 3, because I don't think mentally he'll ever be ready to do something like that. Even if he shot horrible, I'd be happy to see him shoot some at all, but I doubt that will happen. So, but back to the Nets, with their roster, with their new additions, TJ Warren and Royce O'Neal, that just adds more depth to the roster, and it really makes them a true contender, because then you can give players like Kyrie and KD rest throughout the day, throughout the game, and they won't be so tired. And you can maybe load manage them a little bit throughout the season, but not for games, but just through the game, so they don't have to play as much and put much tear on their body. Because you know Kyrie Irving, he hasn't played a full season in like 4 years, and it's really crazy to think about that he still wants a max contract. But I don't know why Kevin Durant's really upset. Maybe that's why he's upset, is because he wants Kyrie to get his max contract. But when you're a guy like Kyrie, man, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's sat out. He hasn't shown up for his team. He hasn't put that work in to be great. And it's just hard to give somebody that type of money when you can't really rely on him like that. But besides all that, the Brooklyn Nets could be a very dangerous defensive team, especially with Ben Simmons, who was ranked the 4th best defender in the league back in 2019 when he was still playing with the Sixers. And I feel like this back injury that he's had, either it's mental or his back, maybe even both, but it shouldn't be able to take him down too far, because he's still an elite player, he's still in shape. But I don't know how you hurt your back, honestly, when you're not even playing basketball. But Ben, I don't know what you've been doing in Australia, man. You can't be partying that hard. But besides all that, the thing we really need to talk about is, if the Nets do end up trading Kevin Durant, and they trade him to a team such as the Boston Celtics, and you get a player like Grant Williams, Jaylen Brown, and Marcus Smart, you still have a very solid team with Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown, and Kyrie Irving, because you have 3 different guards. They're all very different, with Kyrie being about 6'3", Ben Simmons is 6'10", doesn't shoot. Jaylen Brown can play off the ball because he's always been playing with Jason Tatum, so it's really important that they don't just shut down, and they're still trying to contend even if they do lose a superstar like Kevin Durant, who's just upset and angry. But honestly, Kevin Durant, he's going to be returning to the Nets, and he's not the type of player to sit out because that's just so detrimental to the league if he does, man. A player with 4 years left on his contract just sitting out, not wanting to play. I mean, could you imagine what that would do to the league? It'll put the league in a frenzy, man. I don't know how you would even be able to do that. But back to Kevin Durant. I feel like Kevin Durant's going to be there. And if Kevin Durant does end up staying, the major thing with them is Ben Simmons is the biggest key to this whole situation, because if Ben Simmons is healthy and can distribute the ball and isn't playing in some sort of major fear, and he's not scared to drive, he's not scared to shoot, and if he could just knock down some free throws, we'd be in a whole nother spot right now this time next year talking about how Kevin Durant just won his 3rd ring. So besides all that, one more thing I forgot to mention was you have players like Patty Mills and Seth Curry, which are 2 very good role players, and Seth Curry is an elite shooter and a playmaker. And you also have Patty Mills, which is a great playmaker, and I didn't want to forget them. So everyone just needs to be healthy, and as I said before, they can make a deep run in these playoffs. But besides that now, I'll see you on the next one, man. Peace.